Okay. Okay, we are live. Welcome to Punish for Protecting live on YouTube. Punish the number 4, protecting live on YouTube. If you haven't already, please. We are live. Welcome to Punish for Protecting live on YouTube. Oh, I got. Love the back sound. Sorry about that. If you haven't already, go to YouTube, Punish the number 4, protecting, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a live for Punish for Protecting. This evening, we are talking about, this is actually an inside of our boot camp class. This is not something that we do frequently. We do not usually film live and public our boot camp classes. In order to join our boot camp classes, you need to go to punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com, and you can either go to the donations page or the training page to donate and fill out a disclaimer form or a contact form. So we have your information and we can give you the week's class schedule. We generally have classes Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in zoom.us. And we have instructors from everywhere, advocates, even attorneys that come in and teach so many different things to protect you and your families from the corruption going on in the courts. This evening, we had a special guest. However, he had something that came up. So he gave me a recording to teach everyone, and he gave me the instructions. What he has done is he successfully impeached a judge and sued the judge federally. And this is what the teaching is tonight, so we don't chase our tails. And he did get this judge in Indiana down. The first thing I'm going to do is play the recording. And at that point, I will start screen sharing so I can show everybody what we're doing here. And here we go. He will be in our classes though, so please watch my Facebook page at Francesca Amato or Francesca Amato Banfield so that you can follow our schedule as to when he will be in to continue this teaching for everyone. Right now, we are looking for frontline advocates in every state. We would like to take down at least one judge per state to set an example in every state so that family court judges no longer continue the abuse to families. I'm going ahead and play this recording now. I even have an officer, a police officer, that he was an actual, I talked to him. Sorry, here we go.
And the legal system was brought into play. Unfortunately, I went to law school and I refused to take the bar because the bar is, in fact, a conflict of interest between the attorney and client. Mm-hmm. Because all attorneys are officers of the court, and their first duty is to that court. So if the benefits of the client outweigh the benefits of the court, they must yield to the latter. Mm-hmm. So we get the ball rolling here as to what is this judge do that is warranting impeachment?
The one that I want to have impeached, his name is Anthony McGinty. He's a family court judge of the Ulster County of Family Court Private Business that they call a family court.
Okay. This is to do with CPS. Awesome. This all falls under federal guidelines. Outstanding. So,
well, my case has nothing to do with CPS, but some of the cases do. But there's a lot of us that want him impeached. We want him out, we want him off the bench, and then we want him in jail.
Right. What they're doing from that bench is they're claiming authority in which they do not have. They're taking kids away from families. They don't have this lawful authority. They have a receipt from God proving ownership. And the last time I checked, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery and servitude, which means they cannot own anybody and do not have that authority in which they claim. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I will get you started. I will get some stuff together for you, and I can send it to you on your messenger if you would like.
Yeah, however you want to send it. That's awesome.
wrong. So he is a CPS family court judge, and what has he done to warrant this? Who's trying to come forth and file complaints against him? We need a victim.
I have so many victims. I have police officers that are victims. I have mothers that are victims. I have fathers that are victims. Myself was a victim. My child. I have scores of his victims. I want to make an example of him because the other judges are just as bad, but he's the worst. And he's arrested people for no reason. He's just a sick individual. He won't get off cases, even though there's conflict of interest. He's a sick individual, narcissistic abuser, and I want him off the bench as soon as possible. I wrote a book with his name on it. I do TV shows with his name on it, and he won't get off my case.
Now, you're familiar with the judicial canons, are you not?
Somewhat.
Okay, the full faith and integrity of the courts, okay, he's
Right.
violating this. So.
Yeah, I understand that. Like everything you're saying, I do understand it. I just need to know the process to get him off the bench.
We need to get the individuals from which he has victimized together. We need the best way to do it would be through a class action lawsuit through the federal court system, and file complaints to go to a grand jury to look over to find to get the examination indictment process rolling, so that then they have legal recourse to go after him in his capacity.
Okay.
If you can get those folks together, I will put together an outlined step-by-step way to get the ball started. But we really need it starts with them.
Okay, I will get.
If you can get those folks, I will. And this goes for everyone that's been in that courtroom. This goes for the CPS workers. It goes for everybody from that judge down to the clerk to the guy that changes the towels in the bathroom. I say this pertains. Get them together, and the way we go through this is everybody who is involved in that case, from the judge right down to the janitor that changes the towels in the bathroom, they're all closed under the cover of law. And they've all had a part of this, and they're all party to it, and they're all have to pay for it. This is how we get our courts back to constitutional law, eventually someday, if in fact we can do it through their courts, because they own those courts. You know, we're just using them in our courts, but they've been taken over, you know that. And right, but like I said, put together for you, as I'm doing with Laura here, I've got 200 indictment complaints that I'm filing for indictment here this next week here. In this case, everybody involved have multiple counts. If you get a chance, look up, go into the Federal Criminal Code and look from Title 18, Section 241 down to 247. And get them up. That'll show you. There's kidnapping in here. See, the state is guilty of kidnapping.
Yes, they are. I agree.
Under Title 18, Section 245 and 247. And it's conspiracy to deny your rights. See, this is all a big conspiracy to deny constitutional rights. They deprive you of life, liberty, and property. Unfortunately, children in this case would be considered property.
Right.
As it sounds.
Right. I understand that. No. I understand that. You know what? It sounds very good because my son is my property. I'm the one that takes care of him, raises him, protects him, loves him, feeds him, clothes him. So yeah, absolutely.
And the whole pretense that the government thinks that they can regulate things, they cannot regulate anything in which they did not create. So did the government have anything to do with the procreation of these children? Absolutely not. They therefore are not, they do not have the authority to regulate. I've won so many, I go through my life without a single license. And I've beat every damn thing I've been held under the Patriot Act. And I got out of that. everything is just vocabulary and putting the ball in your court and not giving them an inch of leeway to go either way. So I'd be glad, I'd be honored to put this together for you.
All right. Well, I would absolutely appreciate it, and I would be honored too. If you want to send it to my chat, that would work fine. And I'm going to start going through it right now while I'm sitting here. I can give you guys my personal number too, but I'm sitting in the office right now, so I just use the main phone here because it's just easier. But yeah.
And you can go ahead and give that to Laura, and we can change numbers, my phone numbers to you as well.
And then tonight's Zoom, if Laura can just she knows how to get in there. Do you have the code, Laura, or do you need me to send it to you again for tonight?
Code again.
I'll send it to you in a few minutes here on Facebook. I'm just trying to pull it up. All right, I'll send it to you again. It's going to be 8 o'clock tonight, okay?
Okay.
And I may even take it live. We'll see. We might take the class live so we can get more people's attention. I may even take it live. We'll see. We might take the class live so we can get more people's attention on it. If we can get more and more groups in every state to indict these judges and get them off the bench as soon as possible, that would be the best thing. Because what I'd like to see is, even if we got 2 to 3 judges in every state to make an example of, by getting them kicked off the bench and arrested, then the rest of them will have to shape up real fast. And not that any of them deserve a second chance, because they don't, not the damages that they've done. But at least it would start to send the message out. Because I'm all for Title 18. I'm all for Title 18. What'd you say?
It sends a very stern message.
That's right. And I'm all for Title 18, Section 242. I want them behind bars. They committed crimes. They belong in jail. That's all that's to it.
Absolutely. Now, I am working on a window mandamus. Challenging the constitutionality of CTS. And I wrote this 10 years ago. I'm including more and more in it. I would like to make this a class action suit, as the Department of Health and Human Services were part of the new deal that the Supreme Court struck down in 1936 as unconstitutional. And CTS is a part of the Department of Human Services. So all these rogue agencies are unconstitutional and were previously ruled unconstitutional, and they need to be disbanded now.
That's right. I agree. All right. Well, I agree. Sorry that it does that.
I say every day that he is on the bench, he is destroying somebody's life. So it is time imperative to get him out of there.
Yeah, exactly. I even have a police officer, that he was I talked to him, him and his family. This man tore his family apart, literally ripped apart his family. And this was an officer that, like, if an officer did wrong, he held him accountable. If an officer was his worst enemy, but the guy did the right thing, he would do the right thing. He's considered a good police officer. And they destroyed this man and his family.
Better than average police officer.
That's right. And he's really there for the right reasons, and you have no idea what. So he's a part of us wanting him off the bench. He can't get to his own children. See, they wanted to.
He carries a little bit of weight because of his position and can bring other people in as well too.
But I want to just know. So this is the way to get him off the bench, right? Is by going through the federal court.
That's the reason. It's a way to get everybody involved in the process, in trouble for what they are doing.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'm ready. So I sent Laura the code. Okay, so there's that. Now, the next part we're going to look at is the myth of judicial immunity. What I'm asking from everyone is to go ahead on Facebook or YouTube, where I just sent you the link, share this to your Facebook so we can get the word out. I am expecting anybody who says they're going to take their piece in this and advocate for this and work towards this goal, that you will consistently stick with this so we can see this through to completion. Okay. Anybody that wants to step up, and you have a judge, I think it's just easier to focus on one judge. Don't overwhelm yourselves. Pick one judge and their victims, and we're going to follow this process. And anybody can just get the word out by sending out this video and letting them know what this is for, because we would like to see one judge per state. Okay, now if you have somebody else that can help you with a different judge in your state, the more, the better. Okay, this will work, and it will work every time because it is the lawful and correct process. Now, the myth of judicial immunity. Absolute judicial immunity is a myth. Repeat after me. Absolute judicial immunity is a myth. A judge does not have absolute immunity. Judicial immunity does not apply when the following conditions exist. Number one, when he is performing a non-judicial act, or two, when he acts in the complete absence of all jurisdiction. If you ask questions in chat right now, I cannot read them. So the following was found as a result of a search for judicial immunity at findlaw.com case code. So we can open that up. And we know oh, okay, I'm actually not going to open that. I'm just going to read through here because it's not bringing me directly to what I thought. So let me just reopen this. Sorry. The myth of judicial immunity. I'm just going to read through it as it is right now. Judges as criminals. Harchfield and versus Rogers is a state court judge who has been individually divested of all jurisdiction over a case by virtue of being affirmatively disqualified, who refuses to acknowledge his own divestment, and thereafter commits unconstitutional torts solely under color of the case in which he knows or should know that he has lost all jurisdiction subject to 42 USC 1981-88 liability. Suing judges, government not immune in state of Washington, Sherman versus Almeida, Rhode Island, appellate brief, judicial immunity is not absolute, how to sue a judge without using a lawyer, cases, editorial court of appeals, expansion of judicial immunity is unwarranted. What I'm going to do is those that are in this class, if you join and register for this class, you will get all of this. This is what you guys get. You get all of this. Did we just? Okay, let me get this to you guys in chat so you guys can have this. I don't know who got kicked there, but we'll give you that. You guys can take that. You can click through. Those of you that are watching, we will get this to you by registering for class. How do you register for class? Punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com. Punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com. Don't forget to put in the subject that what you're exactly looking for. Although we do cover many topics and so many options to get you the help you need. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to the class is open for others to speak on behalf of this if you have something that you would like to interject in regards to what we are talking about tonight. Remember that the gentleman that will be instructing on this, we will let you know when he will be in again, okay? Now, let me just get to what he left me to read to the class this evening, and then you guys can register to continue with us, to join us, to advocate with us, to go after the judge you want to. I will be personally handling Rogue Judge Anthony McGinty of Ulster County of Family Court. That will be who I will be, but I will be guiding anyone through our classes, and we look forward to you coming into these classes so that you can go after any judge that you want to go after to have impeached and indicted. That's our goal. Okay, we want to see them in jail. You know that Punish for Protecting has always said the scales of justice must be balanced, and we must have a system that works. Okay, and it must be by the people, for the people. We are the people. Okay, now let me just get this up, and I'm going to read to you some of this. Okay. Now, what he said is that to go to the canons is very important, but also that the 2/3 vote is kind of a waste of time because we're going to be counting on them again to vote them out. Okay. In some cases, like I do believe with Anthony McGinty, they gave him the thumbs down to be Supreme Court judge because what I've gotten back from the district attorney's office is that he was an embarrassment to them, to his own party, for what he did to me and my son. But he's done this to many people, and he continues to do this behavior. So I think they would be even further embarrassed if they seen all the scores of victims I had, and we stood in the legislative office and we continue to go tell the story over and over again. But this is much better because this is actually impeachment and indictment. Okay, now he's going to prepare a whole slideshow for us and a teaching after this, but I just want to give everybody a little taste of this and the class this evening. Okay, so I'm going to say the most sacred of liberties is personal liberty, or the right to enjoyment of life and liberty, is one of the fundamental or natural rights, which has been protected by its inclusion as a guarantee in the various constitutions, which is not derived from or dependent on the U.S. Constitution, which may not be submitted to a vote and may not depend on the outcome of an election. It is one of the most sacred and valuable rights, as sacred as the right to private property, and is regarded as unalienable. 16 CJS Constitutional Law, Section 202, P like Paul, 987. Prosecutors are also subject to the Attorney's Disciplinary Committee and the State Bar. This gentleman actually turned his prosecutor into the Indiana Attorney Disciplinary Committee through the State Attorney General's office and with the bar. He also, okay, let me just explain this because people are saying, how can we prove that a judge is practicing law on the bench, so to speak? Anytime a judge gives their personal opinion, they are in violation. They may not comment on matters in which they do not have expert knowledge in. So I'll give you an example, though. How many times has a judge called a mother or a father unfit without a medical finding of unfitness? Okay, that is high violation. That is actually one of the highest misdemeanors. They may not comment on matters they no knowledge in. They cannot act outside of their official capacity. If they hold a degree, even if they hold a degree, it is still opinion, and opinions, even if made by the most educated, are still only opinions, not facts, and are biased in favor of the individual who opened them. Now, what I want to talk about as a national advocate and what I see constantly and the importance that we have to see and what we can do collectively, right, is that we all know that everybody that's in this boot camp right now and many that are watching and will watch this, well, we know that they don't take in evidence. There is no due process. People don't even understand what due process is. They think that if you walk into a court and you had a couple of witnesses and you have a judge sitting there and you have everybody has counsel, that's due process. That you go to put evidence forward and the judge strikes it, that's due process. That is not due process. Okay, so if you don't understand due process, and it looks like due process, but it's not due process, you're not getting due process. When you're not getting trial by jury of your peers, that's not due process. When you're not bringing in evidence-based courts, okay, not contract courts, not duress, not signing something and agreeing to it in a right mind. And when I say a right mind, I'm not talking about you were on drugs that day or you were hallucinating. You could be 100% sober and forced into signing something because the supposed to be assistance of counsel, but the attorney that they gave you or that you're paying exorbitant money to is pushing you to do that so you can take some breadcrumbs in place of your children And you're doing it, no question, out of fear. And you're not doing it because in your right mind, or if you were not threatened or forced in some way, you would never sign and agree to what they force families to agree to. No one would sign and say, I absolutely agree to this. They have violated everything. And this is high treason. This is high treason. The Georgetown Law Journal, page 395, states, local governments are not entitled to the defense of qualified immunity. Do you want me to repeat that so everybody gets this clear? The Georgetown Law Journal, page 395, states, local governments are not entitled to the defense of qualified immunity. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the denial of jury trials, which is Martin Lynch's baby, or a trial by jury by peers, is further violation of our rights. The Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to a fair trial by the jury of your peers. Guarantees that right. Guarantees it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Never said that family court litigants, family court, family members, family court was a lesser citizen, so to speak. When did your rights get told you don't have the same rights as everyone else when you walked into that place? Or when CPS comes showing up and the combination of the two? That again is high treason. High treason. So the Sixth guarantees the right to a fair trial by the jury of your peers, not by the opposing counsel and the judge saying who's who in the zoo, and if you have the right or not, or if what he orders is what he orders, and that's the end of that. Not by having to be in limbo for months or even years, appealing decisions, and in the process of that time, more damage is daily done and robbery of your life and your children. That's high treason. High treason. Of all crimes shall be by the jury, the most powerful word in the human language is the word shall. You will or you won't. It's not up for interpretation. Then you have jurisdiction issues. These courts do not have subject matter jurisdiction. Refer to the 13th Amendment and claiming authority over which they did not create. And Robert said it best. Go contact every single state capital and ask them when we, the people, voted in family court. Ask them when we, the people, voted for CPS. You won't find it. So the best thing to do is to seek the federal system, because the feds hate the state and the state hates the feds, the federal government. Okay, so what we need is, we need each person, each party. Hold on a minute. My case is totally different. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the canons and the federal process. So I just did this live. It's a short live. It's just to get the word out. It's just to get the attention. Anybody that's in class, if you guys want to say something, not really questions, because the questions are going to be for the instructor when he comes in. Okay, and I don't want to answer those questions because I do not feel equipped to do so. But if you have something that you already know and you want to state it for the viewing audience, or that you yourself are going to go after one of your own judges, what we're going to use this platform for when we go live is to get the attention of other frontline advocates that are going to do the same. And we're gonna bind together, and we're gonna go, like I have hundreds of McGinty's victims. So for me, this is going to be cake. So for others, I don't know how many you have. I'm sure you do. And I'm sure by coming through me, I can help you find victims per judge. That should not be difficult at all. We see this every day in this movement. Okay. And I get the same judges' names over and over in all the different states. So we can easily network that. We have the ability to do that. But anybody here that wants to say anything about this before we turn the live off, please feel free.
I did. I just want to say, yeah, I'm definitely interested in this and the process. So I'm going to be paying close attention to this, and I want to see how to go after some of my judges. Yes, this is a good idea.
Okay, so what I'd like to do with you then, if you can just find the judges that you know victims of, like in other words, that you know the victims of, and get only one of them. Don't want to do more than one. Pick one. And that's how we'll do it. Then we'll each follow the same process. He said he'll help us and guide us through the federal suit to go after them, to get them down into the right up to the indictment process, which I know Don Ruffney is going to be right in here with us on that one. So anybody else want to say anything? Anybody else have something to say about this? I know Natalia said you know a couple.
Hello, can you hear me? Fran, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, well, I sent out my federal criminal complaint to Bill Barr.
You're talking, but we can't hear you.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying that I sent out my federal criminal complaint to Bill Barr, the U.S. Attorney General.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something that could be added.
Yeah, because I have like a copy of the letter my judge denying me denial of jury trial, and
denying you everything.
Yeah, denying me everything. Even last week or 2 weeks ago, I told her that the father's not letting me see my son, and she said I needed a psychological evaluation before she would even hear me. And there's no evidence of me ever being crazy.
Right, or anything, but they can make you crazy, that's for sure. But yeah, exactly. And that's there she is now, practicing law and actually stepping out of her boundaries into, like, other places. So she's actually prejudging you, and she's already making you crazy before she lets you have your child. So that's treason. That's treason. So all right. Anybody else have something to add to that before we close this live?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I'd like to call out Robert Montgomery from Kanawha County, West Virginia, Family Court. September 28, 2015, I told him I want to due process. He laughed in my face and told me we don't do due process in family law. And miraculously, for whatever reason, there was a glitch in the system, and that did not get recorded. So I definitely want someone in the court, like a court watcher with me when I go back. But they won't even let anybody back in the waiting. You have to wait in the far waiting room you can't go back like by the courthouse. Witnesses or nobody, but they're little crooked attorneys and the bailiffs and their secretaries that deny. They denied it. Like she said, oh, well, you didn't have court that day. And I proved it like, yeah, I was there for one, here's my paper, And then she's like whispering with the lady upstairs in the clerk's office. And then she give my money back and basically said there was a glitch in the system. So yeah, that's a little bit fishy, but yeah, I'm done.
Right. And that's what I want to, like, I'd like to have the viewers that are listening right now and hearing this, the families that come through this class, we get to know one-on-one, because you guys consistently take these classes and we talk, and once in a while you'll get somebody, maybe not so up and up, but majority of these families that, like Natalia, I'll give you a perfect example of a really good mother, never had an issue in her entire life, and is dealing with a judge that is a bully. And I know we all feel the same way. Do we not feel bullied in these courts, like belittled and disrespected as human beings? Anybody want to answer that? Address that? Letitia, I see you're in here. does anybody feel that you go into these places and you're respected anywhere in this world, okay, and yet you walk in and they belittle and bully and treat you with disrespect? Does anybody feel that way?
I absolutely do, Fran. Yeah, and also I'd like to call.
I'm tired of it.
I'd like to quote unquote hashtag not snitching, I'm telling. Ashton McDaniel. He's a Kanawha County, Charleston, West Virginia CPS worker who was a little fishy how he acted towards the other party, the mother, at the end of court when he went in and lied and protected and hid the abuse and lied and almost word for word the same crap that she was boldly lying about that I had evidence to refute, and the judge did not care. Imagine that.
So this is interesting because I know there's others in here, but this is one of the things that I've seen throughout. Okay, for example, Travis, you dealt with abuse on the other side where it was the mother, and yet she's got the child.
The mother
Natalia,
and her two boyfriends.
Yeah, and her two boyfriends.
Yeah.
So you know, this is why I named everything Punish for Protecting, because the sane and moral thing to do, you know, is to protect our children. I've had families contact CPS not knowing what a crooked system it is, thinking they're doing the right thing because the child is getting abused somewhere legitimately. I'm not talking about the false allegations because that's something else.
Well, Fran, like I had to do at least 7.5 months of supervised visits for reporting the abuse, right? While the abusing party blamed me for the crap they was doing. And instead of looking at the evidence, the judge, the honorable is in quotes for sure, okay, Robert Montgomery, Kanawha County, West Virginia, Charleston, state of corruption, West Virginia. But anyway, he refused to look at my evidence and went on hearsay. She claimed, oh, well, he did this. Then that's when she brought in the crooked-ass-eyed, crazy-eyed, excuse my language, sorry, not sorry, put a hashtag in front of that. But, yeah, that's when she brought him in, and they lied together, and he worked with the state and her so all of them could, keep profit, like hearing, more or less, because basically they're transferring my wealth between 3 different parties. Or, well, basically an entity, the child support and all that's connected, the courts, but 2 child's mother that's abusing them and the damn state. Redistribution of wealth. Clear, cold case of a violation of my 4th Amendment right.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct. You're 100%.
Yeah, something like that happened to me too.
It's extortion.
I took evidence of abuse and the judge said, I don't want to hear it.
Like the whole time I was going to court, they was extorting me while they were sending me to this so-called visitation center, who's probably benefiting through the courts as well, the Title IV-D funding crap. But, you know, that's, yeah, I was the one being punished for trying to protect my child.
Yeah, I was too.
You know, my son actually turns 10 years old the 26th of this month. And the 6th of next month will be 2 years since I've got to see my son. Because of the courts and that CPS worker. And my time is limited to a half hour on Sunday night, a half hour once a week. If the child wants to. That was clear in the court paperwork. If the child wants to. After she had that long to condition him. That's what I'm saying. There's no speedy trial there. It's a bunch of baloney. Like, you know, I'm trying to use good.
So that's a lot about. Though. That's my point about this industry. They live on false allegations, falsely accuse the innocent parent. They put the children with the abusers, and then so here we got a father, flat out ignore the law. Here we have a father and a mother. We have you, Travis, a father. We have you, Travis, a father, and then we have Natalia, for example, a mother. Both of you.
You know what happened to me? They're making me pay, and now they're charging me $150 an hour to see my son.
Wow, that's super extortion. That's actually indecent servitude. That's violating the 13th Amendment right. That is stacking. Oh my gosh.
So this judge in Virginia is so abusive, and she's a woman abusing a woman. Okay, and Natalia, you're the same exact background as me.
Well,
okay,
yeah,
she and I
obviously got the better career. That's what it's about.
No drugs, no alcohol.
Yep.
You know, a Christian, has strong beliefs, loves the child, doesn't lie, doesn't make up
Better
stories.
background.
Okay, and this woman judge is highly abusive to you, Natalia.
Yeah, and when I reported abuse, she put me in jail for 5 days, and she said, I don't want to hear it.
See, that's what they go after, the person with the career and the clean background, because you'll walk into like the family court, like, you know, pretty much a saint, and then you walk out and you got a bunch of charges. You know, you're being charged with misdemeanors or whatever they can get you with. You know what I mean? Just so they can take more money from you.
I'm there, Kentucky.
And the cycle continues. Like, how many mothers and fathers are locked up for child support right now? Does anybody have a number on that? Because I don't, but I'm actually curious as to how many.
That's what the problem is in like Washington.
It's a revolving door.
It's causing housing deficiency.
On money. It's where the jails get money too.
We're live, so we need one person to respectfully talk at a time.
Sorry. Go ahead. Y'all got the floor.
No,
okay, I just wanted to interject a little bit there. Basically, in Seattle, Washington, the reason why mainly most of these people end up on drugs and don't get their kids back is because they get a housing deficiency because of the child support that incurs during the removal. And so there's no way for these parents to actually get their children back, because without housing, the judge is never going to allow those children to go home. And no landlord in their right mind is going to return a child to a place where there's no place to live, and no landlord will rent to you if you have child support pending. Like they'll say, like they said to us, $10,000. He's like, I can't rent to you. I have landlords willing to testify in court for my lawsuit against Child Protective Services. And the reason why they're willing to testify is because they honestly felt bad not being able to rent to us so that we could get our children home. Finally, we found a man at church that was a private owner, and he rented to us. And that's why I would say probably 80% of these people cannot get their children back. And they turn to depression, anxiety, they give up. The CPS are waiting for that. They want these families to do that. They want them to give up on their children because then they can sell them. It's a meal ticket. These kids, they see them like houses and cars.
Hey, look, I'm sorry that's happened to you or somebody you know, or both probably being there.
All of the above.
That is really terrible, but I'm in the same boat. Like, it's everybody, but obviously it's worse certain places because that's just bold, man. I don't know. I'd be moving. Just saying.
That's how it is in Kentucky.
Give my babies a bounce.
The only good thing about where I live is marijuana is legal. So Child Protective Services cannot keep your children for marijuana, which seems to be a big problem in other states.
That's not a good thing anyways, because, I mean, for medical, like if you are like ill or something like that, then yeah, use it for that. But it's honestly, it's an enemy of the workforce. And that's the other part that sucks, because taxpayers, we're all paying for these people to abuse us. We're paying and funding all of this. All of it. I don't want to pay taxes no more. Hell, the Great Depression.
Our state made $4 billion this year off of it. I mean, it's in our resources.
I mean, it's all connected, and it's all about the money, greed. Look where it started, though. 1997. A certain woman that can't seem to find emails wrote it, and then her husband signed it into law. Executive order. Stemming from our Social Security, why Obama, I believe, said it was going to run out. That's because basically the warning for, hey, you're getting a little greedy. Take it easy.
It's still slavery, so the government's breaking their own law anyway. You cannot put a child up for adoption for compensation. That's human trafficking.
Yeah, there's like just about every law there is, like every one of your constitutional rights almost, like they're violated daily.
I'd like to say something here. people are missing the point that instead of taking care of your private business between your partners and your family, people are forced into, or they are choosing to pull in a third party debt collector. And basically that's what these courts are. So instead of educating ourselves in terms of how we communicate, to live amongst one another with family, that is our gift, that our family is our blessings. If we cannot create and establish a balance within our own family, that's why we're being subjected to an external party, because we're not taking care of our own business, minding our own business, cleaning up our own home, getting our own house in order. So as long as that keeps perpetuating, then we're going to have these leeches. Does that make sense? And in terms of these alleged courts, look at how their monetary system, what they're actually doing. And I won't speak on that right now. I yield.
Okay, now what if the other or one of the parents is a narcissist, for instance? Okay, they don't care that that's what you should do, and a lot of parents are actually trying and fighting, and the issue is the courts aren't doing their job. They're breaking the law. There's a bunch of these barred attorneys that get to the top of the ladder like a king on a throne to want to be the judge, and just they're having a bad day. Guess what? You lose your rights.
Exactly.
Well, it is. But the system is set up to.
And that's wrong. A lot of them, an oath of office should be posted on the
wall. The system is set up to keep you in the court. The system is set up because they want to keep your money to them. They don't care about your children.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about you.
Door.
Okay, they care about their wallet. That's all they care about. It's a politically corrupt system. Period. That's what it is, and it is run by narcissists.
Look at
and
the political.
Generally, there's one or both partners in there, or non-partners, I should say, that are narcissists. That's what runs the system. And you're going to have, and a narcissist is an abuser. So you're going to have that, and that's what runs it. But I'm going to actually just remind everybody watching to join us for the continuation of what we're doing here, Impeach, Indict, and that the myth of immunity. Please join us at Punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com. Punish the number 4, beingaparent.com. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Make sure that you register and you do not miss out. We're doing many things in these classes to help stop this abuse to families and to have a genuine, balanced scale justice system. So join us. And if you would like to help get a judge down, join us so that we can guide you through the process. Thank you for watching.